never had happen is when we put these in and make the municipalities or counties aware of the crossings, they've always agreed for their portion of the maintenance in order to have that crossing at that location. She and I discussed it a little bit, and the one thing we could come up with is, and this has not been verified by the railroad, but one thing we came up with was that if for some reason the crossing was not upgraded to the standards to which FDOT currently believes it should be, that the railroad would have the ability to come in and say it is now an unsafe crossing, and they could close it. They have the right to close their crossings on their railroads. They have a lot of power in that regard, and so that this council is fully knowledgeable about what it is somewhere around 1,800 to 2,150 bucks for your annual maintenance for Mussey, and whatever the road ends up, having to be done as far as striping and maintenance. And in return for that, we get almost $500,000 from FDOT to bring that up to standards. I don't know when the last time Mussey was upgraded, but it appears to have been a while because CSX owned it at that time, and it's gone through several hands since then. So I would hope we get a lot of bang for our buck and we don't have to upgrade. Of course, that's not out of our pocket. And then so, in complete transparency to the council, the maintenance costs are reviewed by the railroad every 3 to 5 years, and the maintenance costs can go up, but that would only be a condition or result of inflation or increased material supplies, depending on what maintenance would need to be done. So we don't get a warranty on it, but I'm hoping that if it's brand new, then we're going to be around our $3,600, and that may be why it's gone down a little bit from the $2,100 we're currently paying, is that it's going to be brand new and would require less maintenance over the next couple of years. But to be completely transparent, she believes the last audit for maintenance costs was done in 2023 for Mussey, and so we're looking at 2026 or 2028 in which they may reevaluate what it costs for maintenance. But again, I'm hoping, much like a car, that you get the first 3 or 4 years, cross your fingers with no major problems, and that we would be on the lower end of the $3,600 annual fee.
All right, what would be the pleasure of the council?
I make the motion that we approve the resolution 2025-43.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put it to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. 2025-43. Resolution is adopted. Going on to item E.
City Council Resolution number 2025-50, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to Option and Lease Agreement and a Memorandum of Agreement, and providing for an effective date. And this would be with New Singular PCS LLC, otherwise known as Singular Cell Service, and they have equipment on our tower. I think it's a water tower, or one of the water towers, and so they want us to enter into an amendment, First Amendment to that. This relates back to their predecessors and owners back to 2006, but this is a source of income for the county by allowing them the space on our tower.
The city.
City. All right, it'll be the pleasure of the council.
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2025-50, authorizing the execution of the First Amendment to the option and lease agreement.
Second. I second that motion.
All right, a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Resolution 2025-50 approved. Item F.
Resolution number 2025-51, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, declaring certain personal property owned by the city as either surplus to its needs and sold at a publicly noticed sale or determined to be obsolete, non-serviceable, or beyond economic repair and appropriately discarded, providing for the authorization to remove such surplus property when sold or disposed of from the fixed assets of the city, and providing for an effective date. And the list of the items are attached.
All right, what is the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-51.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion?
Yeah.
This is saying like the Glocks, so I'm assuming, those are guns. So how do they dispose of those? How are,
I mean, that's.
Same question that came to my mind this afternoon, so we would need to get with the chief on that, but I'm pretty sure there's a protocol.
Oh,
Give me a clue.
I don't want to speak out of context, but typically those guns are sold back to a dealer, and in turn, who has a license to be able to sell, and then they're disposed of.
Auction those off to a licensed FFL
Yes.
dealer, and then they can sell their
Then,
used
then all
property.
the paperwork will be actually processed by the gun dealer and the transfers.
Sounds better.
Any further questions?
auction out there to anybody?
Can't do it. So, Ken Weaver, the Florida Highway Patrol.
You can't do that. You got to
I appreciate it.
Do you want me to-
We- honestly, I don't know if we would need any comments.
Okay.
No, we got any more further discussion there? All right, so, will be the pleasure, we already got a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? All right, resolution number 2025-52. All right.
51.
That was 51. Item G, I'm sorry.
City Council Resolution number 2025-52, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, authorizing the extension of the service agreement firm transportation service market area contract number 104359 and providing for an effective date.
All right, pleasure of the council.
Make
I
a
mean, go ahead.
motion for resolution 2025-52.
Second.
A motion and second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Resolution 2025-52 is approved. Item H.
All right, so on this item is sort of a two-part process. As you'll see in your packet, it is blank. I think everyone was placed on your desk a memo December 9th, 2025, outlining the four bids received for the ITD 13-2025. This is the maintenance garage roof replacement project. And the council, the viewers, Gerald Lee, Mr. Dixon, and Mr. Murillo, have recommended to the council to award the contract to Advanced Roofing of Sanford, Florida, with a bid of $59,500, which noted was the lowest responsible bid. And so we would need a motion to award the bid to whatever entity the council deems appropriate, and then we can insert that material or that information in on the resolution, and I can read it by title only.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept the bid from Advanced Roofing of Sanford, Florida, with the bid of $59,500.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, second part.
All right, so the second part now would be adoption of City Council Resolution number 2025-53, bear with me. A resolution of the City Council, City of Live Oak, Florida, accepting a bid from Advanced Roofing of Sanford, Florida, related to the removal of the old roof and installation of a new roof system on the City of Live Oak maintenance garage located in Live Oak, Florida, providing for the award and execution of the contract, which is, again, is attached in blank to fill in, and providing for an effective date.
All right, pleasure of the council. B.
I make a motion that we accept the resolution number 2025-53.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, resolution 2025-53 is approved. Moving on to item I.
All right, so, bear with me, I know y'all heard it way more than you want to hear it. Nonetheless, the next item, 6I, 6J, 6K, 6L, 6M, 6N, and 6O will all be conducted as quasi-judicial hearings. The procedure for that is we will read the title by ordinance. We will then open the public hearing. All those wishing to speak as to for that particular line item will be given their 3 minutes. The proposed zoning ordinances requires the city council to conduct a public hearing in a quasi-judicial capacity. The city council's decision must be based on the evidence and information that is presented at the public hearing, including the agenda materials, planning board recommendation, testimony presented at the public hearing, and the deliberations of the city council. Council must make its decisions based on the evidence in the record, much like a jury does in a trial held at the courthouse. The council's decision may not be based on any information received outside of the hearing process. The council is not allowed to take into consideration public sentiment or the popularity of a particular development proposal or request for a zoning change. The council may only consider competent and substantial evidence that is in the record and presented to the city council. The property owner, the applicant, has the burden to make the initial proof that its request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and our land development regulations. If they meet that burden, then the burden shifts, and then opponents must provide substantial competent evidence that it is not in conformity with the zoning and land use regulations. Citizens who want to participate can testify as to factual matters and any element of the case that would require specialized training or specific academic degrees. Florida courts have made it clear that mere generalized statements of opposition are to be disregarded, but fact-based testimony can be considered competent, substantial evidence. Again, it is not a popularity contest, and the council can consider only those facts that are presented before it in the quasi-judicial hearing. The quasi-judicial decisions made by planning officials are to be based on substantial competent evidence. And then Florida Statute 286.0115 provides that any person who is not otherwise prohibited by statute, charter, provision, or ordinance may discuss with a council member these matters that are going to be taken up. The substance of any ex parte communication to the council member which relates to a quasi-judicial action pending is not presumed prejudicial if the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place is disclosed and made a part of the record before the final action on the matter. A city council member may read a written communication from any person. Any communication that relates to a quasi-judicial action shall not be presumed prejudicial to the action. Such written communication shall be made a part of the record before final action on the matter. Council members may conduct investigations, site visits, and receive expert opinions requiring quasi-judicial action pending. Such activity shall not be presumed prejudicial to the action if the existence of the investigation, site visit, or expert opinion is made a part of the record before the final action. So as I did on the first reading of all these ordinances, these being the final reading, with a roll call, has any member of the council had any ex parte communication, site visits, etc., that I just described regarding the items subject to the quasi-judicial hearings?
Hoffman, no.
Owens, no.
Brown Robinson, no.
Jefferson, no.
Campbell,
All right, and then from the audience, when we open up the public hearing, if you click on one of these items, you'll be placed under oath before your testimony, and to bring the audience and the council up to speed. These were all presented together with the maps and factual basis and recommendations of the staff and the planning and zoning board. And those items and those facts are already considered to be in evidence. So with that then, if Mr. President will allow me, I will read Ordinance number 1544, an ordinance in the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 1.35 acres more or less, small scale, of land on the future land use plan map of the city of Live Oak comprehensive plan pursuant to an application CPA 25-01 by the property owners and their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations in the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from residential low density to residential medium density on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date. And so with that, we would need to open the public hearing as to that ordinance.
All right, this time, public hearing. Having seen none, we'll close the public hearing portion. And what will be the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that we accept ordinance number 1544, CPA 25-01, final reading.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Ordinance number 1544 CPA 25-01, final reading is approved.
Ordinance number 1545, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district of the same 1.35 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 25-04 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single-family manufactured home 1, RSF MH-1 to office institutional O1 on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date. Open the public hearing.
All right. This time, the public hearing section, our portion is open. Seeing none, we'll close public hearing portion. Will be the pleasure of the council.
I make a motion that ordinance 1545 be approved.
1545, LDR 25-04.
All right, a motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1545, LDR 25-04 is approved.
Ordinance number 1546, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 0.48 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 25-05 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single-family manufactured home 2 RSF MH2 to residential office RO on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date.
All right, this time we'll open up for a public hearing.
Daniel Williams.
Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion, and will be the pleasure of the council.
Offer a motion for the final reading of ordinance 1546, LDR 25-05.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1546, LDR 25-05 is approved.
Ordinance number 1549, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 1.29 acres more or less small scale of land on the future land use plan map of the City of Live Oak comprehensive plan pursuant to an application CPA 25-03 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from industrial to commercial on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date.
All right, this time we'll open up to the public hearing portion. The public comments, we'll go ahead and close that portion. With the pleasure of the council.
Make a motion for the final reading of ordinance 1549, it's 25-03.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? All right, final reading of ordinance 1549, CPA 25-03 is approved.
Ordinance number 1550, an ordinance in the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 1.29 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 25-07 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from Industrial 1 or I to Commercial Intensive CI on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date.
This time we'll open it up to the public hearing portion. Public comments. Seeing or hearing none, we will close the public hearing portion and turn it over to the pleasure of the council.
I'll make a motion for the final reading of ordinance 1550, LDR 25-07.
Second.
All right, a motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1550, LDR 25-07 is approved. Moving on to the next item.
Ordinance number 1551, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 15.16 acres more or less small scale of land on the future land use plan map of the City of Live Oak Comprehensive Plan pursuant to an application CPA 25-04 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3160 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change in the assigned future land use